right, we're here. It's episode 2, man.
Dose.
I know that's that Duolingo working for you.
Yo, week 3, I'm killing it. But it's nice to see you, man. I appreciate whoever listened last week. Or watched on the YouTube. Again, all your support is much appreciated.
Yeah, the same here. I feel the
But
same way. We had a good, good senses of our friends and close contacts that checked it out.
exactly, and we got some stuff we need to build on. But again, man, I think our future's bright. But I kind of want to start off this week, and we talked about it before the episode, just to take a few minutes to talk about something that's plaguing me personally, and something I think doesn't get talked about a lot. It's just mental health. By no means am I a mental health professional or anything of the sort, but at times we can get very anxious and depressed, and as a minority male, you don't always, get told to let your emotions out and things of that nature. And for me, I tend to close up and not want to talk. And that's been one of my, my more negative traits. And, I like to bottle things up and, second guess myself on a lot of things. And I just want to reach out to, anyone else who's struggling, even if it's for a few minutes or, for a few months, I'm here for you. Reach out to me. I'll personally give my phone number through YouTube or through the Twitter. If you just need someone to talk to. But I'm dealing with some things personally, and I just want to let everyone know, like, you're not here alone. No matter what it is, I'm not here to judge you. But I think mental health is something serious and that we need to take more serious going forward. So even if I can just help one person, I just want to throw that out there. Again, I'm not a medical professional, but if I can, lend the ear, or give some advice, I'm here for that. I'm going through some things myself, so that's very important that I hit that this week. So I appreciate your time for letting me do that, Kenny.
No, that definitely takes a lot of courage, man. I'd say it. I've gone through my own mental health things. I find my low points where sometimes I feel like I lash out even to my loved ones and my close friends, and even when they don't deserve it and it's not their fault, it's something I struggle to deal with as well. So I know what it is, and it's important to have somebody to reach out to and just to vent and let it out. So that was good that you put it out there, because not a lot of people got the courage to even mention that they're going through something.
Exactly.
So that's big.
So
That's big, man.
yeah, man. Again, I appreciate you letting me do that. But let's kick off this week's episode.
Man, this one's gonna be a good one. Before we get fully deep into it, let's catch up a little bit. I know we're playing Xbox all the time, but we don't, in between playing the Xbox and hanging out through virtually, we aren't really talking about what we're doing, how's work, how's this, how's that. It's just kind of sometimes just a game or roasting each other, things like that.
Yeah, for me this week, I got out a few times this week, actually. Don't tell, the feds that I'm out, with the pandemic and whatnot. But jokes aside, I got to see a few friends. I went on a hike with one of them. Well, not a hike, walk around Forest Park. And I got some Greek food with another friend. So that was good, just to get out the house and kind of, try to mingle with people, especially, during this time and what I said in the last segment. I had a funny moment that I want to save just for this podcast in general. Was I was driving on the highway, just doing my thing yesterday, driving to my dad's house, going to see the family, and I'm just listening to music like a normal American. And next thing you know, it was like life just changed to a rap video, and some dudes in like some Lexus drove by, black Lexus, and the passenger seat dude flashes a wad of money, and I was like, I paused and I was like, was this directed at me? Like, am I supposed to flash money back? Like, did I not get the memo? I was in a rap video and they sped off past me. I don't know if it, again, like, was this a targeted attack? At that moment, I was like, yo, I'm old, because I was like, why are you doing that? That money should be in your savings account. So I'm officially that guy. I'm officially old man. The attitude now matches the bald head. So that was my funny moment of the week. How about yourself?
Man, aside from having to hear you talk about wanting to pick up a Tesla every other day, for a whole week, I did some mini gardening with my stepdaughter. We picked up these free seed pods from Stop and Shop, and I know nothing about growing vegetables. She knows nothing about growing vegetables, but we gave it a try. We were, hands deep, like knuckles deep into soil and just trying to plant these things. And I got them outside. I got vegetables that I've never even heard of planted, like gherkin. I don't know what that is. I don't even know if I'm gonna eat it. Yeah, exactly. You saw you put that's your reaction, man. I saw this. I'm like, the picture looked like a pickle. She was like, it looked like a pepper. I don't know, man. So
Yeah,
that was that, man. So it was, interesting. I feel like cabin fever here and there with being in the house. I'm not used to it. We're in June. We're officially in June, man, and I'm used to like every weekend in during this time to be able to play basketball if the sun's out. And not being able to do that like has me out of a life routine, not even like a daily routine, a life routine. Like I would get out there, talk trash, go foul some people, let my frustrations out from the week. I can't do that. So it's
yeah.
been definitely trying and different for me these couple weeks. But before anything, before we move too far ahead, I wanted to mention to everybody, I've been getting the emails like crazy that we are officially on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, Breaker, and I believe there was one more, and also on YouTube.
So we're everywhere, coming to a TV, coming to an internet, coming to an app near you.
Yep. So it's
Some
it's
good.
good. I'm extremely excited about all of this. You know.
Exactly. We can only go
So
up from here, man.
exactly. And I was taking a look. Anchor does some cool things about sponsorships. We could do like a 30-minute read, record it ourselves, and they would put it either at the beginning of the episode, middle of the episode, end of the episode, and we could make $15 after every 1,000 listens. So
Okay,
it's
cool.
something.
So we got to get the people listening then.
Yeah. So like as everybody should know, if they don't know, this is the Why the Hell podcast, right? And this week we'll be talking about the main topic, right? Main topic, we're not heading there yet, but the main topic is why is Dakota asking for 45 million a year?
Because that man deserves his money.
Listen, you gonna get your moment, Ty. You gonna get your moment, right? But let's talk about some of the other things swirling around. I know that everybody saw the whole Tyson versus Tyson. We're talking it's a little sports here.
That can't be real, man. That can't be. I'm just gonna interrupt you. That's not real. There's no way. There's no way they allow that 50-year-old man to get killed. We watch enough Rocky movies to see what happens when old dudes go in the ring with younger talent.
Rocky does it though. Why can't Tyson?
Rocky does it, but Rocky loses some brain cells in the meantime. We don't need. I'm not sure Mike Tyson already has all his brain cells. He don't need to be losing no more.
Listen. Look, he looks good in those training videos. He looks good in them.
Everybody looks good in their training videos. I'm pretty sure if you Google Tybo, he still looks good too. But he shouldn't be out here making no videos anymore.
Yo, those were the ill infomercials with Tybo on them. Call now, get your 5 disc DVD.
Shout out to my bald head brother.
What else we got? We got the NBA supposedly coming soon in July. How
We need some sports, man.
how do you
We
feel
need some
about
sports.
the idea, man? About the group stage idea that they were floating around?
I mean, you're never gonna please everybody. I think this is one of the better ideas.
No.
It's fair in a matter, but again, you're not going to please everyone. People are, going to be complaining whatever the measures were. But for me, it's fine. I think, once it started, whatever, people enjoy it. It's sports. I just want sports back, man. I can't remember the last time I actually watched ESPN and enjoyed it. So
Yeah,
I'm
they
just
got nothing to
excited,
talk
man.
about.
I really hope something comes back.
I know
What'd you say?
sports
I'm
is
sorry.
needed. Oh yeah, ESPN like they got nothing to talk about. It's not enjoyable right now. I'm not trying to see Stephen A. talk about you know regular life happenings.
Oh man, it's there's a lot of sports coming back, man. Like, how do you feel about how you feel about this crowd noise that they're pumping into the soccer stadiums and things of that nature?
Eh, I think nothing's ever gonna replicate the energy that a crowd provides. It's not the sound that provides that energy. It's just the you feel the presence of the crowd there. You know.
Yeah,
So no sound is gonna ever replicate that. But they're taking their measures. I think people still need still sometimes need the sports visually through TV, to get us through, especially if we're gonna be indoors for more extended time.
got you. I agree, man. Kind of transition to a more somber um topic. What do you think about these riots going on, man? I know
Oh
we plan to talk about it in a future episode, but what are your quick hits on it?
man, it's one of those. I I want to say that I'm not surprised though. Like that there people are rioting. They try. People have tried protesting. How many minorities have died within the last 6 years to police brutality or whatever it may be, right? And people have protested. It happens again. People have protested. It happens again. Like so. At what point in time does it stop being that you're gonna just keep, non-violent protests, and it's gonna turn violent? Because people, as any regular normal human being, like the more you go unheard, the angrier you get, the more frustrated you get. So it's sad to see the deaths. It's sad to see the rioting because people are putting themselves out there to get hurt as well. Like this guy was defenseless, and by the video he was killed. Pleading for his life. Imagine you rioting. Like what are they gonna do to you? Like so I worry for those that are out there protesting and rioting, man. As much as I would want to be out there, getting my word in, being with the masses, man. I don't want my son growing up without a father. You know, so I take that into account. So and I stay my black ass home, unfortunately for him.
Um, and to kind of add on that is, I think there's protesting to be done. I just think rioting is not the way to do it. Your message gets lost in all of violence and the screaming, and at that point, it's not about what you're protesting about. It's about the damage you're causing physically, financially. There's a lot of small business owners who, for all intents and purposes, run their businesses paycheck to paycheck,
Yep.
and they're already hard enough with these pandemic measures, but then to add rioting, um, it's not the time for it. Again, I'm not saying we shouldn't protest. Don't get me wrong. What happened to Mr. Floyd was very tragic, and all those involved deserve to be locked up for
Oh yeah.
for murder, essentially. But I just think breaking car windows and storefronts and stealing, that's all a cover up at that point. It's not productive. So if
I
anyone's listening to this, just let's go about it the proper way, and let's get our message heard. It's been happening for too long, and this ain't the way to go about it.
and it's tough. It's tough. I definitely see. Like we're gonna talk more in depth about it in a later episode. But honestly, in a way, you gotta look at the U.S. history, man. And this nation is based off of rioting. Like they wanted change and they did it. Like Boston Tea Party, man, one of the oldest
Man, brought
recorded.
it back to the Boston Tea Party.
But it is true, man. It's the one of the oldest recorded riots. If protest riots, because that wasn't just a nonviolent protest. That was a riot. They boarded that place, dumped everything over, right? And in all ways, that's a riot right there. And this country is based off of like if you aren't being heard, like you're gonna make yourself heard somehow. And I think by all means, the nonviolent protests have happened, but are people being taken serious? And I saw actually, I read what Obama wrote, man. And it's true. Sometimes, like the protests, the riots. Yes, you're getting your word across, but it doesn't end there. You got to get out there and vote in the local elections, in the state elections. Because the president's not going to change the police guidance or do any police reform in your community. It's your local governments that are going to do that, right? They're going to put in infrastructures for the cops to follow within that community. So you need to be making sure you're picking the officials that are resonating with your message, with what you want, for your babies, for your grandkids, for your future, generations. You keep electing the same people and you see no change in your community, can't be surprised. So,
I
we'll
agree.
definitely we'll definitely be touching upon that in another episode, though. More in depth, talk more about that. It's scary. It's a scary time right now, man. The pandemic and then these senseless murders and the riots and the protests, man. It's a trying time right now.
2020 is a hell of a year.
You're telling me, man. I know murder hornets haven't even made it up here yet.
Now they're on their way, so watch out. Keep that
Exactly.
rating. But should we do it, man? Should we hop into this week's big topic?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna give you're a big proponent to pay this man, so I'm gonna give you the floor first. Why the hell is Dak asking for 45 million? Tell me.
Oh man. All right. So I guess I'll start off by saying it's not about what Dak deserves. It's about it is this man's time to get paid. Over the last 10 years, I would say NFL contracts have exploded, primarily those of the quarterback position.
Yep.
And Dak has put himself in a position where it's his time to get paid, similar to Kirk Cousins in the past, similar to the Matthew Staffords and the Joe Flacco's. One could argue were those three quarterbacks deserving to get paid the highest contracts at their times. I'm going to land on the side of no,
I must
but
say
they
that
still got their money.
I must say my man's Flacco got paid right after his Super Bowl. Man
But
brought a
we
ring,
still know that Super Bowl wasn't his. That wasn't his doing.
but he made some key throws to get him in there. You hear me? We can't forget that Jacoby throw right over the top on Denver.
So what I want the audience to listen to is this man Kenny said is we're paying people now for key throws, key completions at key times. That's what deserves a contract in today's
Key
day and
moments.
age.
Key moments. How you play under key moments, under the pressure. You could play lights out all season, and I got the stats ready for you, right?
Hmm.
For your homeboy because he deserves to get paid. Yeah, he deserves to get paid. But does he deserve to get paid a record breaking 45 million?
All right, now let me get back to the point. Let me get back to the point.
All right.
So if Dak Prescott decides to play this season under franchise tag, the Dallas Cowboys have to pay this man $31.5 million. Correct.
Yep.
So you're not taking a contract less than that per year. It's just not. It
Of
doesn't. It's
course.
not feasible. So if you're the Cowboys, don't seem like they're trying to work on a long term deal. I shouldn't say. Let me backtrack. I apologize. The Cowboys don't seem too inclined to go too far over that number. Business wise, makes sense. But if you're Dak Prescott, you have all the leverage. Let me tell you why.
Okay.
You play under that. You play under that tag. You get 31.5. Then you're back in the same song and dance next year. Team has an option: sign you to a even higher tendered free agent, not free agent, higher tendered franchise tag, or they let release you and you go sign a bigger contract somewhere else. I'm pretty sure the Cowboys don't want to go into QB purgatory and try to find someone who, at best, may be as good at Dak, a little better. Your Patrick Mahomes, your Lamar Jacksons, which is very rare, as we've seen. So why not just pay this man?
So
So if you're
yeah,
wait, let me finish. If you're Dak Prescott, why can't you ask for $40+ million? What do you have to lose? You know what I mean?
I guess you know I get you. I get you. Anything else on that point?
No. Do you have a retort on that point
So
within
I
itself?
do, I do. So 45 million. That's a high number when, especially when you take a look at that the for the year, right? For the year, the team's salary cap is close to 200 million. So you're telling me a little over 1/5 of the cap will be dedicated to Dak Prescott, who last year, right, led the team to an 8-8 record and missed the playoffs, right? You tell me, right? Is that someone I'm investing 1/5 of my payroll to? I don't think so. I pay him right at like a couple million above the highest paid. Yeah, like 37 because the highest paid right now is around 35 million, and that's Russell Wilson. And if you were wondering, and most people remember, Russell Wilson definitely deserves that money. He led the team to an 11-5 record, and definitely made the playoffs. Won their wild card berth, but lost only by 5 points to Green Bay. He kept that team in there while dealing with injuries in the running back core. They went through 6 running backs all season. You know how you will be in a football man. You know how important it is to have that running back to set up the pass. And going through 6 running backs, that's instability to your offense and still finding a way to make it work. And I know you're gonna tell me, look at Dak's stats, right? Yeah, Dak has had a nice stat line, right? Dak passed for almost 5,000 yards, right? 4,900. He threw for 30 touchdowns, 11 picks, rushed for 277 yards, right? But Russell wasn't that far behind with a better record, right? Russell only threw for 4,100, threw for 31 touchdowns and less picks, so more efficient. And in the completion percentage, actually completed a whole 1% more passes than Dak. It might not seem a lot, but that 1% could be 10 throws. So that's a big deal, you know?
Hmm.
So you're gonna tell me Russell at 35 million, Dak deserves 10 million more than him. And I didn't even tell you that Russell rushed for almost 100 yards more than Dak did. Even at the point that he's older than Dak, he still rushed for more yards as the QB. And we're looking at Dak as this explosive, mobile, multifaceted quarterback. He could throw in the pocket. He can also rush, but he's not really getting out there. And especially I'm actually surprised looking at the stats. I won't lie, I'm surprised for a team that we look at as the Cowboys, and we're like, yo, this is a run heavy team. The fact that he almost put up 5,000 yards, I was surprised. So yeah, he does deserve 37, 38, right? But 45, 10 million more than Russell, whose stats are almost identical and he's more efficient. I don't know. I can't justify it at that point.
So I want to bring our audience back to a point you made at the beginning of this was people get paid for key moments. Joe Buck had a couple
Yep.
key throws. If you want to take a trip in the time machine to, I think it was the 2018 playoffs, where I remember a Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys beating Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks in the playoffs to advance to the second round, if I'm not
Hey,
mistaken. That
hey,
seemed like a very key point where Dak had a couple, key rushes, key plays. I mean, I could just be remembering things wrong.
that is correct.
I let you time. I let you every time. Hold on. Let me keep going on this. So, if you want to hit your whole key points mantra, I think we're checking those. We're checking those there. He beat your guy in the playoffs. Okay. He finished 8-8 last season, but I would argue that he had a coach that for the later part of the last 5 years, we've all said should have been fired and does not need to be a coach. His offense was not very creative. He shouldn't have been throwing for 390 plus times. They need to hand the ball off more to Zeke, who again is his running mate in that offense. I think they got too enamored with the Amari Coopers and the Michael Gallups of the world, but that's another argument for another time. Again, that offense wasn't very flashy. They weren't doing very much. Their defense at the second part of the year, especially, had all but collapsed. They had some injuries to Amari Cooper and injuries to a few people on their line. But again, I think the argument doesn't come back to whether he deserves it or not. It's your time to get paid and it's his time. That's how NFL contracts for quarterbacks have seemed to work. Is it's your next man up. You played well enough to get a big contract. What's that next big contract? We're not paying people off what you deserve. Otherwise, we see, the rookies like Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes, or maybe an Aaron Rodgers, or even a Tom Brady at this point, be some of the highest paid quarterbacks. And I think outside of Aaron Rodgers, they're not. So we need to get away from this, whether he deserves it or not. It's kind of, this is the bargaining chip. He's asking for 45 million. I think him and his crew know he's not going to get 45 million. But if he can get them to come up to 38 plus, then we're talking about something.
Well, my understanding is from everything I've read and some of the rumors that were circulating all over the place. You know, the Adam Schefters, the Ian Rappaports, all those people, right? They were reporting that the Cowboys did offer around 38, and that was not the contract they wanted. Then they brought in, as I'm gonna say, and as much as I give the Dak slander, right, and I don't think that's ever gonna bring them to a Super Bowl, right? They brought in Andy Dalton because you know what? I think Jerry Jones is ready to, if Dak really is sitting on his $45 million demand, we'll just ride out with Andy, you know? And it sucks to hear because then whatever next step that offense might have taken, it's not happening in the past game. Andy Dalton didn't do anything great or anything to open anybody's eyes in the Bengals, right, in Cincinnati. And he's not gonna do that down over with the Cowboys, right? But you got to look at the writing on the wall. If you're Dak, they're willing to move on from you. They brought in a veteran that you both are gonna be learning a new system, right? They're gonna have a new quarterback, a new coach, right? So you guys are gonna be learning a new system. It's not like this is your system, you know it. He's got to learn also. Now you both are learning it. You trying to get paid this crazy money? We might let you go. And I think if I remember correctly, depending on the franchise tag details, I think if he moves on to someone else, they might get like a third, fourth round pick still if they lose him. So I understand the whole model of it's your time to get paid, but we're talking about the Cowboys who he's dealing with, and Jerry Jones does nothing that makes sense. He's like the James Dolan of the NFL, you know.
See, what I don't like about you, Castro, what I don't like about you is you just want to start some shit. That's your mantra. That's your motto. You just want to start some shit. There's no way you can sell to a fan base, hey, we're going to sit the better QB because he's asking for too much money and start Andy Dalton. Andy fucking Dalton over Dak Prescott. Wait a minute. And then you're going to tell your new coach, who you just signed, your new flashy coach, hey, that guy you thought you were gonna have, yeah, well, he's not gonna be your quarterback. You're stuck with Andy Dalton. It's not happening. They need to sell merchandise. They are a business. There's no way that Jerry Jones is betting his short-lived future to win a Super Bowl on the hopes of Andy fucking Dalton.
He's gonna be selling it not on Andy Dalton. He's gonna be selling it on that defense and Zeke.
That
That's
defense, who at the second half of last year
collapsed.
wasn't very good.
But they'll get. But he's banking on the fact that they're gonna rebound, and they got Ezekiel Elliott, the
You
leprechaun,
don't lose
just
seasons,
eating.
Kenny, in rebound.
You know what I
That's
mean?
not how this works.
People do implode and rebound. You know.
And another thing I don't like about your argument that you just mentioned was, they're going to feed Zeke. Fair enough, but how many times have we called this a passing league? How many times have we said the running backs are devalued and that the running backs are replaceable? So if that's the case, we're going to also say that we expect a Ezekiel Elliott to carry the Cowboys to a championship or at least to the playoffs. I don't find that possible.
With a slightly above average quarterback, yeah, it will. It is possible.
Oh,
You don't need the
interesting.
elite. You don't need the elite. Joe Flacco showed you, right?
Yeah,
Jared
when they had an all-time defense, Kenneth.
Joe Jared Goff made it. He's not elite. We can agree on that, or can we not?
No, but again, they had a pretty good team that year, if you do not remember.
I do remember, and all
And
it
that coach
is.
was doing some pretty innovative things when they had Jared Goff.
So all it takes is for some innovative things with Andy Dalton and Ezekiel
And
Elliott.
we're not calling Mike McCarthy that new innovative guy. Mike McCarthy is not Sean McVay.
You don't know that. We know what he did in Green Bay, right? He got fired for being old school, not trying to be new with it, not trying to be creative. He could have been sitting at home like, you know what? I'm gonna look at my playbook. I'm a revamp this. So we don't know what he's bringing out with this offense now.
Because NFL history has showed us that, coaches who usually are old school happen to get fired and say, you know what, I'm going to do some of this new school stuff. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works.
Listen, I'm just putting the thought process out there. Everything is possible, Ty. You got to remember that. You know what I mean? Until that NFL season starts and we see what's happening, anything is possible. For Christ's sake, he could keep demanding the 45 and then end up getting traded, for all we know.
But again, how do you sell to a fan base that a guy with one of the league's highest winning percentages since he's came in the league, this man doesn't get in trouble. He seems, for all intents and purposes, to be a model citizen. He keeps his mouth shut. He grinds. He's a hardworking dude. He has a good story. How do you sell that to a fan base that you're going to bench him because you don't want to pay him,
Well,
X amount of dollars?
they're
And
not
my
gonna.
argument would be there to you. My argument would be to you as well. We're talking about the difference of $5 to $6 million. Okay, is 38 million versus 45 million really going to be that big of a difference to the cap over time? No, it's still a huge cap hit. But if you have the personnel in your front office to go out and draft players, younger players, where you don't have to pay them this money, it things can succeed and your team can be good, such as, I don't know, the Seattle Seahawks, who are paying their quarterback a lot of money, but are also still successful. Do you see how this model works?
I see how the model works, but you have other players that are requesting big paydays as well on your team. You know, they have their linebacker who I believe should be either or did sign or should be headed into a big contract year. That's Leighton Vander Esch. Would you want to lose him? You wouldn't. That's a big piece of the defense, right? You know, your O line. That's the staple of the offense is the blocking, the amount of time he gets in that pocket, right? You're gonna have to pay
O
some of those
line,
guys or let them go.
the O line's getting older.
I was looking at, but even at that one, what is it? Their right guard is it? I forget his name. I was looking at his stats. He's allowed what is it, 8 sacks across like 10 seasons. That is an insane number, right? But they are getting old. You make a point, right? But I know we're getting a little high on the show number, but in reality, does he deserve to get paid? Yes. Do I think 45 is too much for him? I definitely think it's too much for him. That's what, like I said once again, that's over 1/5 of the salary cap for your team dedicated to a man who by all intents and purposes played every single game last year and only got him to 8-8. So that tells me he could play in the key moments, but he's inconsistent.
I want to end this by saying I am by no means a Cowboys fan. Fuck the Cowboys. They're my second least favorite team after the Patriots. But I give credit where credit's due, and I'm just not here for the Dak slander. So, that's my take on it. Kenny, on the other hand, that motherfucker don't give a fuck about nothing. He just want to watch the fun. So, as you can see in this segment, he wants Andy Dalton to start. That's who Kenny is. Kenny is an advocate for Andy fucking Dalton.
Listen, when you look like one of the creatures in the Super Mario Brothers, you don't deserve 45 million. And I can't take credit for that one. That was B Crims with that comparison, and I can't unsee it since then.
Listen, man, how about we transition into telling everyone what you got cooking for the week, man?
Man, this
Russ, if
week,
you can hit the people.
honestly, this week I think I'm gonna make a sweet potato shepherd's pie with ground turkey. I've been dying to make it. Been talking about it. I'm gonna do it most likely Tuesday or Wednesday.
Okay,
What
nice, man.
about you?
I got a keto macaroni and cheese. I got
Mm,
a had a cauliflower that I need to get rid of. I have an absorbent amount of cheese from Costco,
okay.
so I'm gonna try that probably in the middle of the week. I have a few days off, so I'll try that. Maybe some baked chicken and see how that goes.
Nice, nice. That sounds good. Kind of. I messed around with some of the keto recipes. The ones that are heavy on cauliflower, I just can't mess with. Some
Okay,
reason,
respect. Cauliflower's not for everyone.
cauliflower. Yeah, like I could do stir fried cauliflower. I could do cauliflower roasted in the oven. But some of those keto recipes with the cauliflower, man, there be so much cauliflower in it, and it's just, ugh.
It's a lot.
Yeah, man. But I definitely want to point out. I don't know. I've heard from multiple people from last week's episode. They were put over the top at the end with the Christian Mingles joke. So I'm glad
Oh,
people enjoyed. Everybody had like different moments of the episode that they enjoyed, that they found funny. But we're wrapping it up here, right? Any last
yeah,
any
man. So how
last
about you tell the
remarks?
people? Nah, man. How about you tell the people where they can find us?
So they can find us on all the podcasts I had mentioned earlier. They can find us on YouTube as well. I'm actually looking at, like, I think I really liked how I dropped the episode on Fridays. I think we might be dropping them Fridays. They could check us out there, and they can also find us on Twitter at why the hell underscore pod. So they can find us there. The Twitter is kind of basic. We still don't got a logo for the show. Working on that. I got, Photoshop. I'm not very handy with that, but I'm trying to see if I throw something together up for now while we try to get some people we know that are artists. I try to hit up Javi, but homeboy didn't respond after I sent him the episode. So I told him, I'm like, listen, we don't really got an idea. Listen to the episode. Tell me what you think. And he went radio silent on me. So, you know,
Yeah, well, if anyone out there has a idea for a logo, please shoot it to the Twitter. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the show, just whatever you got going on. Again, if you have any mental health issues or anything you just want to talk about, again, I'm not here to judge. Shoot a message to the Twitter. We can connect in some way, and I think it'd be a good idea. If you make your recipe, I make my recipe, post it to Twitter, and kind of give people a visual of what we're doing. So what's next week's episode about?
next week episode we're gonna, this was a little more lighthearted. But next week we're gonna get into the real nitty gritty. It's gonna be episode 3 is why the hell do we keep dying while pleading for our lives? We're gonna talk about all these deaths that have been happening, and just the state of the world, man. And we're both minorities, and just how that plays out, like how that's played out through your life and stuff like that. So we'll be
Nice one.
touching on that for episode 3. Hopefully everybody tunes in for that.
All
with
right,
th-
man.
with that being said, we're out of here.
All right, man. See you next week.
See you next
Deuces.
week. Peace.